Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Thursday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault, here on the BettingPros YouTube channel. Always where you find all your audio podcasts, bettingpros.com. If you can't find it on the audio podcast, it'll be on bettingpros.com. On the bottom of the website, you'll find the podcast. And, well, YouTube for the video, like I mentioned, and you can go to BetMGM and use that promo code $10 to win $150 on any event. The promo code actually is above me on the YouTube video. If you ever forget it, Juice150, BetMGM.com, the BetMGM app, or wherever BetMGM is available for you. All right, so 0-3-1 yesterday. So 2-0 into an 0-3-1 mark. The Bama game was the push. Lucky to get it. They missed so many free throws, a 3 at the buzzer for LSU. They cover. You know, it's interesting because I was talking to somebody about this on Twitter. I'll spend some time on this on my daily show, talking about we need a better way of determining who is beating the spread and who is not. The ATS number, like LSU technically covered the spread, right? ATS, it's always the closing number. But if you bet -2.5 for Bama, you won. I bet 3. I pushed. You bet 3.5, you lost. You bet 4, you lost. So it's just interesting that, like, we say that LSU won that game ATS, but really they didn't because the opening number was 2.5. So that's why the pros bet the opening number, because oftentimes they get the best of the numbers when it first comes out. They're the ones that help to dictate and set the line. The book said 2.5. The pros said, no, it should be 3. The public came in behind it and made it 4. So the evolution of a line, how the line actually is made and then where it is bet to, it's kind of like a blunt instrument, and the professionals come in and they're the ones who sharpen the blade, if you will, to get it to the right number, and -4 was the right number. And so it was coming down to a free throw here or there. So we push, but if you bet 2.5, well, guess what? You won. Everybody else lost. So it's just interesting the way that we quantify who is against the spread when it comes to basketball. It's not really a football thing for me because really, you know, it's 1 or 2 scores, but it oftentimes doesn't come down to the crunch time like basketball does, where a team who misses, I think, 5 straight free throws like Bama did when they're up by 4 should have easily covered the number, but they missed so many free throws. And you could say, well, you got lucky to get the push, Matt. LSU hits that 3, they go to overtime. Who knows what happens? I'll give you that. But still, I would look at that as a bad beat and say Bama had numerous chances to ice that game and make it. They were up by 6, gave up a 3, missed 3, 4 free throws right in a row right after that. So it was a really weird scatter, you know, very odd end of that game between LSU and Alabama. But look, I'll take the push. Northern Iowa, bad. They were down by 7 with like a minute to play. They rally, get the game into overtime, and then they lose by 3 to Valpo. That stunk. Memphis had it down to 3 points with about 2 minutes to play, +7, and then they just stopped scoring. It was right there. The cover was right there for us, and we couldn't get it done against Milwaukee. That stunk. And then I picked the wrong game. I told you last night I was looking at Creighton and St. John's over first half, or I was looking at Iowa and Rutgers over in the first half. Iowa, they scored like 54 points. Total was 73.5. Or 71.5. Creighton went way over. They scored 80-plus points in the first half. Picked the wrong one. If I picked the Creighton game, that game goes over. Iowa does not. So unfortunately, just one of those nights. Could have been a great night, turned into a bad night, but that's betting. 0-3-1 for the night. So down 1.5 units on the night. All right. So today, I'm going to go slow and small here on a Thursday. Tomorrow, I'll open up the window a little bit and bet a little more. We'll do the don't bet a parlay tomorrow, so we'll have a bit more in the betting menu for tomorrow. I am going to just do 2 bets, half a unit. Like I did a couple days ago, we went 2-0, kind of right back to it. I want to start in hockey with Washington and the Boston Bruins. I've been watching the Boston Bruins here in their first period for the last 4 or 5 games. 7 consecutive times the Boston Bruins have gone over 1.5 goals in the first period. Last game, they gave up 5 goals in the first period. I mean, it's been like, whoa. But for a lot of them, it's like 2-1, 3-1, and Washington is the opponent. The last time these two teams played, Washington in Boston, it was a really high-scoring shootout affair. Boston's 12-2-1 against the Capitals, 7-3, the win for the Boston Bruins. Bruins in that game. Let's see. In that game, well, they lost 7-1 to Carolina, gave up 5 goals there, but they beat the Washington Capitals 7-3. First period goals, 4 of them, 2 apiece here. Poor goaltending for both teams. The total is 6. It opened at 5.5, and it's been bet all the way up to 6 here. So we've got that to take a look at. It's climbing as we speak, but I don't mind a goal in the first 10 minutes. You want to bet that? A little extra juice, a little extra action on this game, you can do that. But I just think this is going to be a high-scoring first period. I need 2 goals in the first period from the Bruins and the Washington Capitals. And the Bruins have been on an absolute tear on this. The last time it didn't go for them, it was a 5-3 game where Boston scored 1 goal, and they won the game 5-3. Game went over. The first period was 1-0. But that's the last time that we saw this, where the Bruins did not have 2 goals scored in the first period. And we're going all the way back to a game that took place, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games ago. It's been a while. So let's ride the streak here. Let's bet the streak. Bruins at BetMGM over 1.5 goals is -120 right now. Half a unit, Bruins Capitals over 1.5 goals at -120. We're jumping on that. Other half a unit, where are we going? To the NBA in the game of the night in the NBA. Phoenix at Dallas. Dallas on the back end of a back-to-back. Phoenix -2.5. My guess is this number is going to climb. Public's going to be on the Suns. It's going to be a public play, okay? But I think if we get the better number, 3 is my ceiling on this. 1-possession game, okay? Don't like it more than that. Line was 4 last night for Dallas against the Raptors. They won in pushed. Won by 4. Closing number, but I think it opened at 3.5, closed at 4. But you got, -4 on a push against the Raptors, who are not very good. DeAndre Ayton is out of this game, but man, if you talk about where the Suns are and how good they've been against the spread, really on the road, 13-8 against the spread. Dallas has a losing record against the spread at home. They're 10-11 over the last 3 games. All covers for the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix has won 4 games in a row outright, and they have won 7 of their last 8 games. Same thing going right now for the Dallas Mavericks, though. Dallas has won 3 games in a row straight up, and they have covered, more than that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're 9-1 straight up over the last 10, okay? Huge game in the West, big deal, home team. I'm going to take what I think is the more talented team. Okay, I'm going to lay the 2.5 points here. I'm going to take Phoenix on the road at -2.5. I like Phoenix -2.5 for their game against the Dallas Mavericks. Great game, big game of the night in the NBA. I'm going to take the Suns at -2.5. Okay, so just 2 plays for us here over on the night. I may have more, but probably not, because I'm going to have multiple plays on Saturday for football, multiple plays on Sunday for football. I'll do a little more tomorrow, because as I mentioned, we'll have the Don't Bet a Parlay tomorrow. But I don't want to just stumble into the weekend. I want to go with a little momentum. So these are 2 plays I like, and I'm going to stay with that. We're going first period over 1.5 goals, Boston and Washington, and we're going -2.5 Phoenix Suns on the road against the Dallas Mavericks, who are on the back end of a back-to-back. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.